Ordinarily, I may not have supported this bill, but given the antecedents and what happened during the last runoff to the presidential election and the issues that came up with the Central Bank of Nigeria, where the governor of Central Bank of Nigeria was all over, his photographs and electoral materials were all over the place. Yeah, in other climes, like Abaribe said, this is the Central Bank of Nigeria. In other climes, the Central Bank of Nigeria governor doesn't run for election or doesn't have political ambition. But we find ourselves in the situation we find ourselves now because of what happened recently. I personally have an amendment to the Central Bank Act, again, based on what happened in the last, some months before that. No, but I'm giving you the reason now. No, if you didn't, but what is it? No, you see, he's saying he wasn't put.
Senator Betty Apiafi, you are protected. Round up.
With the antecedents of what has happened in the last political fallout of the presidential primaries, I think we need to separate the duties of the central bank governor and that of the board so that we have a situation where an individual in the central bank doesn't take a holistic decision that will affect the entire central bank. Remember, the Central Bank of Nigeria is where we keep electoral materials. It shook the nation because it was like people now started having doubts about the capacity of the Central Bank of Nigeria to keep electoral materials in the central bank. Having said that, I hope I have been able to convince the DSP that we should really allow this bill to go for public hearing. We'll get more information and then they will be properly convinced. But I've given them enough reason to believe that this bill should be allowed to go for second reading. I so move.
Well, before I call on say something regarding the submission by our colleague Senator Betty Apiafi, if someone decides to print your pictures as posters, print or brand vehicles and airplanes and whatever, and put posters everywhere, and you don't come out yourself to say you are running. When I said I was running for the presidency, I was there. I went all over the place, even though some of our aspirants didn't go out to campaign, but they admitted they were running. I think we should not link this bill with that incident. We should be looking at the merit of the bill, whether it is appropriate, whether it is going to be helpful, that the chairman of the governing board should be different from the governor of the CBN. I think this should be our focus rather than the kind of thing. Senator Abdullahi, the alleged contest by the governor of the central bank, because this should have nothing to do with what we are doing here. It's not one of the. It's not on the table. So I will advise us that we look at the arguments put by our colleagues, and here there are two things that we can do. Either that the sponsor of the bill decides to withdraw it for further legislative action and consultation, or that we put it to vote, which gives the risk of this bill failing. So I will first ask the sponsor of the bill if he thinks that our colleagues who said the bill should be withdrawn have a strong case, or I put the question.